Welcome to this introductory video on Gantt charts for your non-examined assessment. Now, you may not have come across the term Gantt chart before, but you've certainly come across Gantt charts, so you'll recognize them when you see them in just a moment. But essentially, Gantt charts are a project planning tool. What they allow you to do is plan out a process from start to finish. Plan out all the tasks involved in that process and all the resources you're going to need in order to carry out those tasks. And it just forces you into a situation where you're planning right from the beginning of a manufacture, so that you don't waste any time along the way and you're working in the most efficient way. It allows you to plan the activities, like I said, but also allocates time to those activities. So you can estimate how long an activity will take and you can plan for that amount of time. And by doing that, of course, you can work out, if you add together all of the allocated time for all the allocated elements, you should then be able to work out how long your project is going to take from start to finish. It also helps you make sure the tasks are completed in the most efficient way. So again, if you plan from the beginning, you can work out what needs to be done and in what order. Whereas if you don't complete a planning task at the beginning of the manufacture, what you'll end up doing is coming into lessons and just working with what you have to hand rather than seeing the bigger picture of the whole project, and that means you might be wasting time along the way. So this is a really important activity for you to do at this point. It allows for something known as the critical path analysis or critical path assessment. The critical path is essentially the shortest possible time from start to finish that the project can be completed in, and it's done essentially by adding together all of the time allocations for all of the dependent tasks. Okay, so that might not be clear just for the moment, but certainly with the next few slides, we'll be able to hopefully visualize that. So this is how you work your Gantt chart then. So it's dead easy really. What you'll do across the top of the Gantt chart, this one was done in Excel, but it can be used, you can use any kind of software. Just along the top is your time allocation. So those are the yellow boxes along the top. That's how long you have to complete your project. And down the left-hand side, the orange boxes, those are the tasks that have to be completed. And so your first task really is to identify all of the possible tasks and identify the time frame in which you're working. For example, so in this example we have lessons, but you can use hours or you can use weeks depending on how you want to work your Gantt chart. And then down the left-hand side, this example of some tasks that need to be completed. Once you've identified all of the tasks in as much detail as you can write them, you'll need to allocate time to those sessions. So just here we have some blue boxes, and those blue boxes represent how long each task might take. So task 1 might be marking timber using tri-square and a pencil, and we might think that that's going to take one lesson. So you mark that in blue. The next task is dependent on the first one. Obviously you can't cut the pieces out until you've marked them out, and we think that's going to take one lesson, and so that goes after the first task. Then might have task 3, followed by task 4, task 5, etc. Okay. Now the critical path, so there's a different example of a Gantt chart just here. The critical path identifies all of the dependent activities. So in the example you can see here, we've got writing the task, then designing the task. Now designing the task and writing the task can happen at the same time. They're non-dependent or concurrent activities. But you'll notice that taking the paper to the printers is dependent on the design task, and so you'll see there's a red arrow leading from the end of the design task down to paper to printers. So that's one task that is dependent on the other. It can't be started till the first one's finished, and so that identifies our critical path. That's the shortest possible time in which the project can be completed in. Okay guys, good luck.